Raise your hand if you enjoy going to the movies. Yeah? Raise your hand if you enjoy showing up late to the movies. Yeah? Me too, because I get annoyed at those 15 minutes of ads and trailers that come on before the film. But I get excited when Nicole Kidman's beautiful face pops up on the screen and she goes into that monologue. You know the one I'm talking about. She says, "We come to the theaters for magic. We come to laugh, to cry, to feel, to care." And then she says this one line that always gets me. "Heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Heartbreak feels good in a place like this." I want to ask you to take a second and think of a movie you've seen that has broken your heart or shaken up your world. And when you have that in mind, allow a scene from that movie to replay. I'll give you a second. Got it? Well, for me, what I just replayed were Black Panther and Wonka. Unexpected choices, perhaps. But before I get into how these films broke my heart and helped me meditate into the person you see standing before you today, I want to center one of my students and a recent Netflix film that did the same for her and helped her along her healing journey. Maybe your movie, too, is helping you along some journey that you're on. I teach a class here at Tufts about popular culture and psychology. In our week on emotional intelligence, my student brought up the example of Frankenstein as a movie that takes you on an emotional roller coaster. And she mentioned feeling stuck at Frustration Station when Victor Frankenstein completed his lifelong project of creating Creature and fell into a depressive madness. As we meditated on that frustration, she came to the realization that she felt that way because it was familiar. The movie was a mirror for her. She too falls into this stagnant yet explosive sadness whenever she finishes one of her big animation projects. Not wanting to fall into this Frankensteinian madness, we came up with the idea of journaling about the joys of creating so that she can refer back to these notes after she's finished her projects at the hopes of curbing that emotional roller coaster. I share this story with you because oftentimes we are unaware of aspects of ourselves, and it takes an outside person, an object, a spirit to bring us into awareness. And I started to wonder, what if movies were a mirror, a portal, a meditative tool that we could use to help reveal our deeper truths and guide us along our healing journeys? Something you should know about me is I am a lay monk, which means, and now I walk the path of a shaman, meaning I work with spirits toward the aim of healing. Though I no longer live in the monastery, I actively maintain my shamanic practices, meditations, and rituals that I've gained from my spiritual martial arts tradition, my Buddhist, and my Taoist traditions. I left my community in China to pursue a master's degree in clinical psychology, eager to share what I've learned with other people. As someone who loves movies and loves meditating, I created a framework for turning our everyday hobbies like watching movies into a spiritual practice, like meditation. Now, before you make that confused face, let me say, there are a variety of ways to meditate. Meditation does not have to be sitting in zazen, holding mudra, chanting a mantra. It can be, but these just amplify the inner work that's going on. Sitting in a dark movie theater with your eyes glued to the screen, arm hugging a box of popcorn, is also a form of meditation. So we'll ask again, what if movies were a mirror, a portal, a meditative tool that we could use to reveal our deeper truths and guide us along our healing journeys? One philosophy that shows up across spiritual traditions is interdependence. Interdependence is the belief that humans, plants, and animals are all interconnected, and that we need each other to realize our potential. The midnight premiere of Black Panther, hosted by a Black entertainment organization in New York City, was an unexpected experience with interdependence. I'll admit, I entered the movie theater feeling moody AF, just believing that who I was too much, that my expressiveness, my colorful queerness, and my presence were things I needed to tone down in order to exist harmoniously in the Ivy League academic spaces I was entrenched in. If you've ever seen Black Panther, you know that nothing about that movie is subtle. From the colorful costumes to the detailed musical score with actual recordings from the streets of Lagos, Nigeria, to the star-studded cast and the plot as dramatic as a Shakespearean tragedy. Witnessing all of this amongst a sea of Black folks, hollering at the screen, cackling, going, at every small little plot point was everything, and then some. I didn't know it then, but I needed them to remind me that my expressiveness is not a problem, it's a gift. I needed those vibrant colors and textures and plot points on the screen to remind me that my eccentricity is beautiful. These are lessons that queer people of color need to be reminded of, given that we exist in a society that tries to dull our edges. Another practice that monks engage in is soul retrieval. Now, this is one of the most uncomfortable meditations that I've experienced. It's where we dig deep down into the underlying levels of our consciousness to uncover a part of ourselves that we've abandoned, ignored, deemed unworthy, dig it back up and bring it back into the being to experience wholeness and power. Sounds poetic, very uncomfortable. Oftentimes, it's accompanied with a lot of discomfort, tears, and frustration. But the movie Wonka nurtured me through that process in a playful way. Prior to seeing the movie, I had a revolutionary business idea. And I received advice from some successful business coaches who told me that my idea would flop. They said it would not work in the market, that my teaching methods were too woo-woo, and that my messaging would deter away the people who would be able to enjoy my services and pay for my financial success. After hearing that, I buried my idea deep down within me, to the point where I could no longer hear its voice or feel its pulse. Even now, as I close my eyes, I can feel where in my body it lodged itself in order to stay safe away from the world of icky business tactics. But thankfully, entering into the world of Wonka changed that. It resuscitated it back to life. And I'm going to walk you through my 3-step process for entering into the world of a movie so that you too can have an important impact the next time you go into your movie experiences. Before the movie, observe the movie posters, the trailer, the sounds that are associated with the film, and notice what kinds of reactions occur. When I watched the trailer for Wonka and I heard Timothée Chalamet start to sing Pure Imagination, those first 3 notes, dun, 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 did something. It felt like a siren song that crawled through my body and brought my idea back to life. I could feel its pulse again. The impact was so extraordinary that I was eager to watch this film. And in a society of constant distractions, we need that kind of anticipation. It causes us to lean in and provide that more meditative-like focus. During the movie, pretend the movie is a dear friend who's trying to talk with you and react accordingly. Now, movies communicate through a variety of elements such as cinematography, plot, dialogue, mise-en-scène, etc. React to it all. I know we're trained to sit still and quietly watch things. But I say no. Allow yourself to react. Let your face go sour in strange moments. Let the body curl in when something's cringy. Laugh to the point where you can feel it in your belly. And even talk back at the screen, even maybe inaudible. I remember doing all of these things when I was watching Wonka, specifically in the moments that his chocolate kept getting taken away. In the moments of quick contrast between warm and cool-colored shots, and in the moments when the actors would use a deadpan voice to downplay his dream. With all these reactions, I couldn't help but admit, I know what it's like to be in his shoes. The second I told myself that, The business idea crawled up my spine and tried to emerge out of my throat in almost a suffocating way. Remember, soul retrievals are not always comfortable. The idea had to come out, no matter what other people said. After the movie, sit with the credits and show gratitude to each of the names you see on the screen. Not only does this kind of gratitude put you in a good mood, it also primes you toward the sense of interdependence that I spoke about before. As I stared at all the names of the artists who popped up on the screen, I started to feel courageous. Critics said this film would flop, but here are all these people who put time, money, blood, sweat, tears into creating this film. Maybe I too can be courageous in putting my idea out in the world, especially if it's going to give tools for queer people of color to navigate the dark, icky, unaffirming aspects of this world. And thus the origin story of my queer dojo. So that's my 3-step process for entering into the world of a film. But the healing work doesn't really kick off until you've left the world of the film. So how do you return back to your everyday life after having such an immersive cinematic experience? Here's where I like to write a letter. I believe that when we watch a movie, we're never alone. So I like to address the letter to a guardian angel, an ancestor, my inner child, the voice of a mentor or a parent who I felt was present with me as I was watching the movie. In the body of the letter, I share what kind of impact the film had on me and what it's teaching me about the world around me. I also like to jot down certain scenes that are living in my mind rent-free. And I like to close the letter expressing gratitude toward the names that I saw in the credits. Everything I've shared with you today, everything I've shared, are all ways that you can deepen your own meditation practice with movies. And I highly encourage you to try at least one of these strategies the next time you go into your movie night. Not only does this process get us to slow down and more deeply engage with the media we're consuming, it also gives us a way to work through the constant feeling of feeling lost and stuck and confused and helpless. So I'll leave you with a question. You might already know it. What if movies were a mirror, a portal, a meditative tool that we use to help reveal our deeper truths and guide us along our healing journeys? Thank you.